right. If we want to make an informed decision, we need to hear from both the overworld and the underworld, right? Let's start with the overworld.
Well, look who we have here! You and Marge paying us a visit. What's the occasion? Uh-oh, sounds like something serious is happening. You'd better fill me in. What? How is that possible? I need a moment to wrap my head around this.
Serval, we're racing against the clock. No time for head wrapping.
It's okay. I've thought it through. If it were up to me, I'd sign the contract.
What? Hold on, are you serious? I thought you'd be against it for sure.
Surprised? My reasons are pretty simple. Signing this contract would mean we no longer have to worry about surviving. For most of the residents here, especially those in the underworld, that would be more than enough to persuade them. As for working for the company, people need to work no matter where they are, right? If the IPC tries to take too many liberties, we can always rise up against them. You know, I've always longed for the stars since I was a child, which is why I devoted myself to science and the studying of the Stellaron. If someone told me that I could do whatever research I wanted with only a small price to pay, I probably wouldn't hesitate.
I see. I suppose that makes sense. Thanks for your input. I'll make a note of your opinion. We meet again. How have you two been? Uh-oh. That look on your face tells me something's wrong. I hope it's nothing too serious. Sounds serious. I'm all ears. Really? You better not be making things up. I wish it were made up. Unfortunately, it's all true. We don't have much time, Pela. Branya wants to get everyone's opinion. Wait, you're telling me I have to make this huge decision on the spot? At least give me a few seconds to think it over. Okay, I think I've got it. If it were up to me, I'd probably agree to the IPC's conditions. Huh. Okay. Any particular reason? I've looked at some of the climate reports, and based on the data I've seen, it'll take 3 or 4 more generations for the snow to completely subside. And that's assuming no other disasters occur. I care more about those in the present than a future I can't be sure of. If the IPC is able to bring about immediate change, then I think that's a price well worth paying. Building a better world for future generations sounds great, right? But is it any fun for the engineers and architects who are directly involved in such a pursuit? I see. So compared to a distant and uncertain future, what you really care about is making sure the people around you have a good life. Thanks for your input. I'll make a note of your opinion.
Is that the Trailblazers? It's been a while. I didn't think you'd be back in Belobog so soon. It's been pretty hectic in the city lately. All these people dressed in black suddenly showed up, and even the Silvermane guards have had trouble dealing with them. Do you need my opinion? I'm happy to help. So that's who they are. It's worse than I imagined. The Madam Guardian must be under a lot of pressure. Is there really nothing we can do to assist her?
We're here to gather everyone's opinion on the matter. I know this is a little sudden, but we're running out of time. What's your take?
Why, I'd refuse the contract, of course. There is no room for compromise. Just look at them. Arrogant, stomping around here as if they own the place. How can such people be trusted? Who's to say they won't breach the contract? Faced with this sort of coercion, we must resist them with all our might. Surrendering is not an option. You must warn the Madam Guardian not to allow herself to fall into their trap.
A soldier's perspective is always valuable, Dun. Thanks for your input. I'll make a note of your opinion. Did we miss anyone in the overworld? I think we asked just about everyone we needed to. From what I've gathered, it seems like most people in the overworld are leaning towards signing the IPC's contract. We'd better hurry to the underworld and see what Natasha and Zila make of it all.
It's getting late. Where to now?
What brings you two to the underworld? And why the long face? Seems a little out of the blue, but since you came all this way, it must be urgent. Go ahead. That is a lot of information to take in. Sorry, both of you. I know you're in a hurry, but I need a moment to think.
No stress, Nat. Just tell us what you really think.
I've thought about it, and... well, if I were Bronya, I wouldn't sign it. I won't deny the offer on the table is a very tempting one. And if we refuse, Belobog will not only have the burden of a huge debt, we may also incite the wrath of a very powerful force. But even so, a quote I read back in school came to me just now. Those who are willing to give up freedom for security will end up with neither. Living in the underworld has taught me that this phrase is true. I'd rather trek through the frigid snow plains than live in a beautiful cage.
Wow, that's a pretty convincing argument. Another vote for the against pile. Thanks for your insight, Nat.
None other than the saviors of Belobog. To what do I owe the pleasure? To be honest, I'm surprised you even remembered an old geezer like me. But I can tell by the look on your faces you're probably not dropping by to say hi. Let me guess, something to do with these unruly people in black showing up everywhere? Well, ask away. It just so happens I'm curious about them myself. Maybe I can be of some help. I see. That's a tricky situation, all right. A lot for anyone to handle, let alone someone as young as Lady Bronya.
Mr. Oleg, out of all the people we know in Belobog, you have the most life experience. What do you think we should do?
Want to hear the truth? I'm afraid great ambitions and lofty plans no longer hold much appeal for an old-timer like me. If this IPC does indeed possess the magical power to restore Belobog back to its former self overnight, then I think the answer is clear. Have you considered the opposite? What about if we refuse? The reconstruction plan already sounds like an endless endeavor. And with the added burden of a massive debt, well, is that something we can manage on our own? What worries me the most is how Lady Bronya will handle the backlash from her people. Will she be able to withstand the criticism? Is she prepared to carry the weight of a tarnished reputation for years to come?
Huh. I guess I never looked at it from that angle. I wouldn't wish that title on anyone. Thank you for your thoughts, Mr. Oleg. Another vote for the 4 pile.